Hi, this is Karen Benz, and I'm here at the next Hi-Fi podcast. This time I'm speaking to the guy who started it all. He's like the guy that you all want to know. His name is Liam Gleeson. Hi, Liam.
Hello, Karen.
Irish with attitude, but extremely creative and extremely dedicated to giving back to young talent. As you know, Hi-Fi is an initiative that gives back to not only fashion designers or young people in fashion trying to start their businesses or start their creative process, but he also supports new, young, fresh talent in the music industry as well. I thought it would be a great idea to talk to Liam about how and why he even started Hi-Fi. Also, how I even got involved, which I can't believe. I feel really blessed and really lucky to be a part of such an important initiative. Liam, I'd love to ask you, why you felt it was so important to start such an incredible initiative as Hi-Fi.
Yeah, well, I guess we've been working with designers for over a decade now anyway, before Hi-Fi was a thing. And then, so way back in the day, we were working with Lulu and Fashion East, started to work with designers then, and we were funding the films back then as well. We started off, I think it was 2012, we did Katy Erie and funded it, and then we did Martine's Man film, Matthew Miller, another talented designer that we worked with back then and sort of were supporting in the same way, Liam Hodges. But we never really talked about it as a thing, like a support system or a scheme. We always kind of wanted it to just be about the work and not about it being about us. But then the more we kind of got to know designers and we got to kind of talk to them about their challenges and what they really need, then we started to understand how we could be of service in this way, more outside of a show, for example, where they need campaign content, they need kind of creative assets and support in that way, whereas a show can only provide so much, and there's a lot of noise to cut through. So this initiative basically is helping designers and musicians that haven't got the means to compete against brands with bigger budgets. So we're essentially leveling the playing field against brands with bigger budgets.
Now that you have this initiative, Hi-Fi, it'd be interesting to know, how can you even afford it? Is it coming out of your agency? What's the name of the agency? Right. Which I think is very important too.
Yeah, so Hidden Agency has been... And
that's your agency?
Yes, that's our creative agency that's been around since 2009. And
what does it do exactly?
Just across the board kind of stuff, but we do everything from creative direction for brands, high street and luxury, commercial, music videos, anything, strategy, branding, all sorts of stuff.
The Hidden Agency sounds like an agency that, because it's been going so long, at least it has a backdrop of experience and a team that understands what someone would need today. With your team, how do you work this? Where do you get the money from? How can you afford to? I know you have the experience, I know you have the know-how, I know you have the backdrop of work, but how can you afford to start Hi-Fi?
Well, yeah, so the truth is we've always used profits from commercial work to fund these projects. So
hold on a minute, so you use profits from commercial work.
Yeah.
But you have to pay everybody. Right. So how does that work out?
I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, in an ideal world and in the future, like we've got a sponsor, and we're able to create more exceptional work, or like bigger events, and that's the dream, and work with more designers, more artists in the future. But for in the beginning, like it was just because I personally wanted to work directly with a designer, because it's a pure form of work. Like there's no commercial middleman, there's no one getting in the way of the creative, so it's like that was where that kind of side of it began, and then it evolved into hi-fi, like just after just knowing designers and like talking to them about like what they really need and what the struggles are, and there are a lot of those, like London is and everyone says that London's this hotbed of creative talent, but it's more and more harder for them to even exist here, to have studios here, to live, so that's another reason why this is such an important scheme, because like it's just it's one thing they don't have to think about if they're a recipient of hi-fi. They don't have to worry about like finding budget for this kind of work, or they know that we're there to kind of help them to achieve more coverage, to kind of put them out there, like give them a platform to show up.
How do you put the budget together? Like, how does this work?
Well, we would normally like take like a chunk of profit from each job that we do and put it into a pot.
Right.
And at the end of that, we go, right, what have we got to play with? Can we do an event? Can we do a campaign? Like, how good can we make it?
That's unheard of. Like, no one's giving anybody anything these days. They'll give them time, they'll give them advice, but they won't give them a piece of their profit that they're making to help them out, which I think is just it's just unheard of. Hopefully it will become a trend and more people will try and see what they can do for young talent. Well, how do you when you're looking at talent and you're looking at giving back to someone every season, right? What makes you see something about that person or that brand or that designer or that musician that you feel excites you? What is it that helps you to choose who you will give back to?
I mean, I think means is important, and because like I just said, not only like the tuition fees and the cost of living here in London, if you're not from London and you need to live here, and then as a designer you need space to work, and that is at a premium in Central, like let alone East, like that's kind of over. So you got to go even further out, and then becoming more detached from the city itself. But there are pockets, and it's still there, but it's harder and harder, I think. And so like that would be part of the thinking as to who would receive hi-fi, because it's rather than like somebody that's kind of already backed, already doing something, that probably somebody that like hasn't had the opportunity to make a campaign film or a shoot, or they haven't got the budget for it. So it would be more like leaning towards designers and artists like that, like an artist without a management, for example, an artist without a label, which is what we've just worked with an artist called Tweaks from Florida that doesn't have a management, and it isn't repped, and it doesn't have a label, but still putting out amazing music on Spotify, and which I heard
more of an underground,
which I happened to hear a track, and if there's any way that this project can help them to monetize their music and be a little bit more effective in whatever it is we can do. And then we're putting on an event as well where we brought them over from Florida to come and perform, so it all goes towards it.
How did you find Tweaks?
Oh, well, Spotify just, I was kind of a fan anyway.
Okay.
I mean, I heard a track that Spotify threw at me like without me knowing about Tweaks, and I just heard it and I thought, oh, what's that? And saved it. And then I just was compelled to reach out, to see if they wanted, if they wanted to do a project, And then that was it. We started talking.
Where did you shoot this project, and what is it that you actually have done for Tweaks?
Right, yeah. So we actually went over to LA and we met up in LA, and we planned out like sort of it was a 3-day, not all day long, but we did like different locations on different days.
Right.
And we went to town on it.
Yeah.
But going back to like the budgets and how we can afford all these things, we do also work with an amazing network of creatives that it's not just me. It's like we work with DOPs that are working for free for this. We've got colorists that are working for free. We've got or doing technical crew that are doing favors.
Oh, by the way, I'm a part of Hi-Fi. just in case.
Exactly.
Just for flavor. Yeah. Well, I'm involved as well.
Well, yeah. Well, Karen.
I think I'd say that.
Yeah. But we could talk about that as well, because it got to a point I knew I needed an ambassador for Hi-Fi that elevated it and got people talking about it in the right way, and as well as your creativity, your styling knowledge, your strategy knowledge, and creative direction is it's also incredibly helpful to designers and artists. Like, you're already working with like huge artists in the music industry and design world as well, and going through new gen as well. We talked about.
Yes, exactly.
So it's you and
I'm on. I'm on the page. I'm on the page. Yeah. I mean, for me, I love the fact that someone can actually know me very, very little, which I've met you years ago. I met you through Lulu and Fashionista, and I thought it was really crazy how you came up with an idea for me to be a part of it. I guess because I already work with the BFC as a judge for new talent, and with Sarah Moa and the BFC team on New Gen. So yes, I do see all the talent that's coming up, and that's kind of ready for some sort of help like this. If they don't get on New Gen, we take a look at them and we think, maybe they can use our help and at least attracting more financial help. If we give them a creative overall, then this is something they can show, improve, and send out to sponsors, and et cetera, et cetera. And this is also something I feel that's always going to be important, is visibility. Visibility is the key to jump-starting any business and any brand and any artist. And with Hi-Fi, I'm very excited to be a part of it, because the visibility side of helping these young people is it's unlimited. It's unlimited through our social media channels and through all the channels of the people that we're connected to. I mean, I would feel, because the hidden agency, who hasn't been working as long as so many other agencies, still felt the need to give back in such a short period of time. Also, hopefully, by giving back, everybody attracts, a new audience. We attract a new audience. And Hi-Fi, we inspire others to do what we're doing. And at the same time, we are actually making moves for these people, because unfortunately now too, because of social media, it's kind of a pull back opposed to a pull forward, It's like it's so much, because it's almost too much social media, they don't really know how to stop and think and come up with a fresh idea, because they're always on the phone, they're always on the phone. Well, with someone like us, me for sure, I am internet. So I know what it's like to have to really come up with an idea with no help. And you're another generation after me, if not two. And working with you is always going to be interesting for me because you are at the beginning of social media, but you still don't, allow it to take over your creativity. And this is something, hopefully, that we can do to inspire young people. Get off the phone, travel a little bit, even if it's just out of your area. Go to the library. Not just research for research's sake, research things that really turn you out and that really open your mind to things. And I hope that Hi-Fi is an initiative that also inspires that. I mean, I think for what we've done with Tweaks, it's definitely going to blow up. But we've done more. So why don't we talk about one of the other ones? What was the first one that you did?
The first one.
I wasn't a part of Hi-Fi then.
Yeah, no, true. No, I wanted to just mention about back to what you were just saying about inspiring creativity. And I always encourage, if I was to do work, I do workshops and talks sometimes at universities where I actually do encourage students to not research on phones or online and just to come up with ideas in the moment. And I devised a workshop where I'll present one photograph to a group or individual that then has to create a film storyboard based on one photograph. So it could be the end frame or the beginning frame, and you make up a story just based on looking at an image, and you can make an image move, and you can listen to the image if there's there's a car in it, if there's a kind of different people in it, you've got different characters you can make up. So it's forced you to kind of come up with an idea in the moment, without the aid of going on Instagram or whatever. So it's like that way. That's something that I always encourage anyway. So yeah, I think that process does kind of lead into Hi-Fi. So when we do work with designers, I think we've got an understanding of kind of where they're coming from conceptually. Yeah. Because me, as a kind of film director as well, as my background is in publishing, then into film direction. So I think my team and myself have got a deep understanding of what designers actually need and how we can represent their collections visually, in the right ways. So it's not just regurgitated.
Right, exactly. Yeah. As well as pushing the younger people. What is the age group that you're dealing with now when you do these workshops?
I mean, it's from I guess 19 to 25 probably.
Yeah. Right, so that's going to be a whole new generation.
Yeah, in reality, I would like to do it younger as well. Just to kind of get change the mindset. The earlier, the better.
I mean, as London for me is the oasis of creativity. It's as a New Yorker, New Yorkers are worried more about money and status and who sees them, where to me, living in London all these years, here they just want to be that person that creates something that will blow you away. And if we can tap into that deeper, we are doing what we're supposed to be doing. Of course, the hidden agency is the means to that, but we do have to encourage the fact that we need help in order to keep this going. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, what we can achieve with what we can put together.
What little we have,
what little we have. And sometimes it ends up not being a little.
Yeah, of course.
Because it escalates, but it's all for the good, all for the love, But no, in the future, I think you said before, hopefully it starts a trend, but I'm not so sure about that. Yeah. A lot of people want to do the least.
At least as possible. I know.
Yeah, they want to do the least as possible. They want to, but no one actually. Because the thing is that what we what we do is it takes so much time, the
Yeah, it
production,
does.
the creative, the post-production.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of time, a lot of resources. It's not just a throwaway, turn up for one day and we get as much content as we can and we do a panel talk or whatever it is. It's not really, as a designer, they're not really walking away with anything tangible.
Yeah, we go in
Exactly.
deep, you know. We try to make something beautiful and meaningful and something that can resonate, you know, real, strong, authentic talent. But yes, we do need help with sponsorship, I feel. I think with sponsors, we can elevate this to such a level that we will attract more and more people to come back to the UK for the talent that we have here, that it's homegrown, we are developing it, and we are supporting it in the best way possible. But I still want to get back to a few of the people that you've helped.
Yeah, but I just adding to that though about like the dream and where, you know, where we see it being in the future, you know, because at the moment it's, you know, it's Hi-Fi is like a one-off. We do an artist or a designer and we have an event, and you know, it's on a kind of scale, you know.
Yeah,
but
it is. It's on a level. It's a level. Yeah.
In a dream scenario, we have a sponsorship that can like you say, elevate it to an enormous event that's immersive, and that we can say actually we can work with more than one designer, we can work with more than one musician, we can work with, you know, maybe there's like 6 or 12 per year that we can say we can incubate, and it all leads to this kind of enormous event that happens that that has like everything kind of popping off in one massive warehouse, you know, where you got like there's a live performance, then there's a you know, presentation, and there's a screening, and then people can just kind of like move around it. And
see, this is what London's about. See,
this
is where we're going.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. I mean, when I first moved here, it was like that, and something has just gone wrong, and I don't know what it is. And I guess they've lost the hope of the help that's necessary, that they need. They've lost initiative after COVID.
Gentrification as well.
Yeah, gentrification has really taken over. And
just to say, like I've been in multiple studios, offices, you know, like artists' blocks that have been demolished with flats put in its place. And it's like, and that's just Hackney alone, and we've kind of been shuffled around in our studios, and they've become smaller and smaller and smaller and more expensive as the years have gone on. But we've been in creative hubs that have kind of been knocked down, and everyone just kind of gets pushed further and further out unless
this is scary.
Yeah, and the space is at a premium. And they need the space, and you know, it's so for musicians as well. A lot of the recording studios are just pushed out as well. So it's like
they are getting smaller. They're like bathrooms.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like that's a problem when everyone wants to talk about London as a creative. You know, like
it's like they're squeezing us out.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's Brexit, so that's, you know,
in reality,
what else they're gonna do? You know, it's like they just want to shut down the whole creative world that we have. But that's our biggest attraction. So we have to get on board. We have to start working even harder. We have to continue to look for the talent, because it's the talent that's going to bring people back to the UK. Because since Brexit, we have been losing a lot of traffic and a lot of money and a lot of visibility. And this is more scary for futures. So at least, you know, I guess I am a part of an initiative that's trying to open that door up and, you know, just push the needle a little bit further. You know, when you push that needle a bit further of what you want to do, you know, that's, like I said before, it becomes unlimited.
Yeah.
I still would like to talk to you about the other brands or musicians that you've actually worked with.
Yeah, well, the first official, I guess, recipient is an amazing designer duo brand called Wed. And yeah, we actually...
Are they British? Where are they from?
Yeah, British, yeah, like London based. and from I actually like happened to one of them was put in touch with one of them, Evan, and we contacted them and just wanted actually to reach out for them to be the first recipient. So we actually contacted them first. Right. And with that one was more about like a film focus and something that they'd never had the means to do up until then. And yeah, we did it rather than it just most kind of projects are crammed into one day. We actually did a three day shoot.
That's crazy.
And went around the country.
I'm not even going to talk about the cost of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's worth it. Yeah.
It was. Yeah,
great.
yeah. And we did that was a big effort, for the whole team. And yeah, we went around the country, did a 7-hour drive,
wow, great.
To shoot in one location. Yeah, we went down to the coast. We we did a whole bunch of locations for that one. And yeah, I worked with a great photographer as well, Yeast Kid. So everything kind of came together, and then we put on a gallery event at the end of it.
Wow, that's great. With
the screening, and then they curated the event, so it was like an installation as well. It's great. It was
crazy.
Yeah. There was again like a lot of talented people that helped out on that job as well.
Right, exactly. As you
yeah.
What was the result of you giving that amount of work to some person, like in just one brand? What was the result of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think the result.
I mean, for the brand.
For them. Yeah, like there's so much that you can do with that kind of content. Like, because it wasn't just like here's some campaign images, Right,
like exactly.
We shot each kind of garment had its own film. So
wow.
So it's also we're thinking about like what buyers want to look at. It's not just
that's where I'm coming from. Right.
So it's like, so that's why how we go into it thinking about these things as well. It's not just I want to make a nice film for me. It's kind of
what's going to happen? What's the result?
It's important
what we doing?
To know like what do you actually need? Do you need like some short skit style things for socials, or do you need something for buyers to look at that no one else will ever see? So they're like kind of like an asset set that we will kind of set out from the beginning that is like what they need, essentially the essentials, because then ultimately that's going to lead to them making sales, and it needs to be
business. I mean, we are in a world where people are extremely self-obsessed and narcissistic with their creativity. They don't care if anybody ever makes money. They only see their own small world, and they bring people in, and then nobody gets anything from it. And we live in a society of self-obsession. We all have probably a bit of it in all of us, but hopefully with the Hi-Fi initiative, what we're also trying to promote is the end result, meaning business will be taking place, visibility will be done, and eventually things will jump off the way they're supposed to. Yeah. And this sounds like an incredible feat of amazement, actually, to just go to someone who hasn't got all of these tools and all this money to do it.
Another thing actually that's important is like longevity. And a problem that I've noticed is over the years is designers coming and going, and designers that have got a lot of hype behind them, and then they just can't like sustain it. They can't maintain. The longevity isn't there. Where if they had like this kind of support scheme, then
at the beginning,
there's a chance that exactly at the beginning when there's already probably like debt.
Like as we all know,
exactly, yeah. So like, is this a way that can help out with that as well? Longevity. There's geniuses in London
which I have said before.
Yeah,
all the geniuses do not have the coins.
Yeah,
they do not have the cash.
And they're right here, and because of that, there's a lack of support like this. That we can't like help them to become the next McQueens or the next,
which is what we need.
And they're right here. like, so.
Oh, they're everywhere, yeah. Also, they have to be also willing to work with an initiative like Hi-Fi too.
Right.
But I don't think anybody would say no
Well,
to like a hookup like this. This is a major hookup, but at least it's a hookup with the right intention. You know? How many people have you, or how many Hi-Fi initiatives have you done so far?
Well, I mean, officially,
Yeah.
like since we started calling it Hi-Fi.
Yeah.
So three. Yeah.
Three.
Four. Yeah. No. Yeah. Three.
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 Okay.
But
So
we've
we
done
mentioned Tweaks, which is a video, music video.
Yeah.
And photo shoots and things like that. And then we just spoke about WED. Is there any other ones? That
we did a project with a designer called Benny Andalo. That's actually a milliner, like a
the hat designer. Yeah.
And
that makes the fur hats.
Yes.
Fake fur hats.
Yeah. Everyone will know. So that was an interesting project. I like that every project is different and doesn't always have to be a structure or formula to the projects. They can just, like we said, it's whatever feels natural and whatever kind of whatever idea comes up. I don't even know, like, until I've sat and spoken to the designer, like, I don't like
this is what an art director does. It's a creative director does.
Yeah.
They have to sit down, see what's going on.
Yeah, I won't even like say like, well, yeah, we want to do a photo shoot. I'm just going to wait until I've had that conversation, and then the ideas can flow. But yeah, we met up and we were just having coffee and we were just talking about it. And I'd thought about like it's a group called the Wild Bunch, which is kind of the origins of Massive Attack, like back in Bristol, and like in the 90s, I think, yeah, and I loved that their style back then, and they were kind of they were influenced a lot by hats, headwear, and stuff, and their style was. I've always thought, when I thought about Benny, and I thought about them, because I was like, oh, they were influenced by hats, but rather than wanting to like recreate something like that, like we wanted to think about, all right, what the modern day Wild Bunch could be. Right. And then the penny just dropped, like, about Foundation FM and. Right, Foundation FM with the DJs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Foundation FM, which I've long admired, and we'd actually had conversations before, and I felt that there was an opportunity there where if we worked with Foundation and say like 5 or 6 of the DJs that kind of on their roster or represented by them, Benny then could create a hat for each individual DJ based on their music tastes and you know, and their backgrounds, and that way that we actually kind of had a bit of storytelling with that project. And then which is a great match, music and hats. Music and fashion. Music and fashion, yeah. Which is why when we started Hi-Fi, it was just for fashion designers, but then we've recently launched the music division of it because we felt there was such a crossover anyway, and why limit the project to designers when we're filmmakers. Right, there you go, and you know, a music video is a fashion film anyway, so you can get to exactly. And it has been for a minute. Yeah. So exactly, so we it just made sense. There's plenty of geniuses out there on the music side that also aren't being recognized, haven't got the means, you know, or don't want to be part of a big label that are kind of number crunching and taking everything you got, you know, like they, you know, all this kind of contracts where the music's owned and you're not really, it's crazy. They're not really making what they should. So there is an opportunity out there for artists to put themselves out there and make a living, like even if there isn't like a label backing. And that's
I
where
mean, that's a
hi-fi
great
comes
collaboration anyway between fashion and music. One
Right.
hand can wash the other and help each other out. You know,
Yeah.
if you turn out a musician in a crazy like video and crazy photo shoot, that attracts a fashion brand to support them. You know, so
Right.
everybody wins. You know,
Exactly,
everybody wins. And the same thing with fashion. If we put it on someone who's a musician, then boom, they're going to get the visibility and the exposure that they need to attract money, to attract business. You know, it's not that I think it's very important to say that Hi-Fi isn't a self-absorbent agency initiative that just thinks about how we're going to make something look cool. What are we going to do with it? What's going to be the end result? The end result has to be we are going to all win. And you win when you attract what you need to attract in order to keep the business going. And we want to attract sponsorship to help us do this. Because what we are doing is we are bringing people back to the UK for the creativity. And I think this is something that, you know, not enough people are thinking about. They're thinking about how fierce they're going to be in the shoot, how incredible they're going to be seen as a creative. If no one's making money, no one cares. So, you know, we have to really push our boundaries and, you know, pull back from that self-absorbentness that we all have in ourselves, which is slightly narcissistic, and think of, you know, why we are doing this.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why I'm a part of Hi-Fi.
Right. Yeah. No. We're aligned on it for sure. Like, and there's a lot of people that are aligned that help us to make all of this happen as well. But like, I think it's a time that a lot of businesses that are in business to make money like would find this absurd to do at this time.
Most of them would.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're not thinking of the future.
Yeah. And
you know, we got to think of the futures.
But I was told by somebody that when I started with the company in 2009, which is significant because it was the year of the great crash, like the financial crisis. So, and people like say to me like, what are you doing, like starting a company in this climate? Mm-hmm. And I only ever saw it as an opportunity because I knew that brands couldn't spend as much money on bigger agencies when I'm starting a smaller agency, and brands got not as much money to give. They were looking for smaller agencies like hidden, and that's how I always saw it. So, and in a similar way with Hi-Fi, I just, you know, if what happens to the designers, more to the point, and the musicians, the artists, what happens to all of them when another financial crisis, like a bigger one hits?
Hello.
It's not just about like, if I can, I'm going to give some, because if all the rest of them aren't giving and they're looking after their own interests, then what's going to happen to them?
Yeah.
You know? And I want to see London, you know, get its kind of.
Hey, you want to see it turn up?
Yeah.
So do I. That's why I'm here. You know, there's no other reason but to see yourself in the future of a thriving city, of a city that's busy, that's buzzing, that's crazy with creativity. You know, Paris, everybody's running to Paris. I love Paris, I'm not mad. But most of them are British that are turning it up. So we have to show people what we have here, you know, and that's why I'm a part of Hi-Fi, because I want to be in the mix when it goes off. You know what I mean? I want to be in it, I want to be a part of it, and I want to push it, you know, because that's why we're here. You know, we have the experience, we have the receipts, we have the know-how, we got the backup. Now what? Do we just work and watch everything just crumble around us? Or do we try to pick shit up and make shit happen? You know, because
that's the thing.
That's the foundation of us as creatives. Like, you know, if we don't pick the people up that are falling on the side of the building's gonna fall down. There's not gonna be any foundation. Yeah. And to me, the new talent, becomes the new foundation of the business that we're in.
Do you know what as well? I spent like a lot of my time. I mean, I've been in London for, you know, since I was at university or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
long where are you from originally?
Oh, what original?
Yeah, originally, yeah.
Born wise.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually born in Wales.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and grew up in Oxford. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Irish father, Welsh mother.
Right, as you do.
Yeah. So I actually from, you know, and it's totally fine to say I was from a working class upbringing, and so I know what it's like to be of like a young age, like trying to do something in this city and not have the money to do it, you know. Like,
I mean, maybe that's why we get on. I'm from the hood, as you well know. It's Brooklyn all day, but being from Brooklyn and growing up in a space where you got to fight every day, you got to hustle every day, I understand the importance of holding it down and staying consistent and staying in it, because any second, that's it, done. You just lost your space. And coming from New York, you lose your space in seconds if you don't turn up. So for me, I think it's a great way to work with someone who understands what the hustle is. You know, we know what it's like not to have the money to produce anything.
I think when you're from, from like, when you've grown up like that, I feel like and in my later kind of years, I become less interested in earning like crazy amounts of money, and I like it, and the commercial side of the business, which of course it's like we have to do.
Yeah, we have to.
And we have to maintain what we're working on and to maintain our lifestyles and our agency. We want to continue to do that, but I couldn't continue to do that and let all this happen without finding some more meaning for myself as well.
There you go, yeah.
I probably would have lost interest in it, like,
yeah, of course,
long ago.
Well, you know, the ones that are real creatives, they do. You know, the ones that never satisfied, you know, they always think they can do it so much better, at least by 30%. But this is how we live. This is what we live for. This is the adrenaline that we have. I remember hearing some kids saying, oh, I get anxiety. Anxiety is what keeps me on top. Like, anxiety is like, it's the new drug, you know? And for me, it's like, anxiety, that's why we're here.
There's plenty of anxiety in London.
That's why we're here, because, you know, you need some sort of push inside your body that tells you this isn't good enough. You have to push forward. But like I said, we can't push forward alone. That's why we have to bring the new kids up. We have to push them further, you know, and they probably need more help than us because they're coming from a place where their whole life is dictated by their phone.
Yeah.
We come from a place where we had to make this happen without a phone, without internet, without any of that. We had to come up and make shit happen. So we have a lot to offer to them in a way to show them how to think about something, how to think about it long term, and how to understand the importance of an organic, original idea. You know, we get it. That's why we want to push them that way. But yeah, Hi-Fi is on fire at the moment because it seems that we are attracting young talent to ask for our help. All you got to do is say it. Of course, you do have to be good enough. This is not a free-for-all, and it's, you know, it's not for rich kids who just want to be popular. No, this is about real, homegrown, organic, you know, original, authentic talent. Yes, we are there to push them. Yes, we are there to help them, you know, because this is what's going to pull the UK right back on top.
Yes, I hope so.
How about that? How's that, guys?
Is that good?
Is that good enough?